You're now listening to All Hog Sports, covering all Arkansas Razorback sports, such as football, basketball, baseball, and much more. Now, here's your host for today's show, Sam Stimson.
In the first game in the College World Series for your Arkansas Razorbacks in Omaha, Nebraska, the Omahawks will take on the Stanford Cardinals. The Stanford Cardinals ranked for second in the seeded NCAA tournament, and they are now the highest ranked team within the tournament after Tennessee was eliminated. That game is Saturday, June 18th at 1 p.m. Now, earlier this season, Arkansas actually did take on Stanford in the Round Rock Classic. Stanford won 5-0. Arkansas really struggled at the plate. Only 3 hits. However, their starting pitcher, Matthews, pitched 6 innings against Arkansas, only allowed 2 hits. He will not be the starter. They're going with Alex Williams in this one. However, lots of familiar faces down the lineup. And same thing for Arkansas. They started Hagen Smith in this game. Connor Nolan will be starting for Arkansas. Now, Matthews this season on the year for Stanford has pitched 97 innings in 17 games started with a 2.88 ERA. He really has an effective fastball and is able to throw batters out. 90 strikeouts on the season. He's a senior right-handed pitcher who made a lot of waves as a freshman, was a freshman All-American in many different rankings. This year on the postseason, he started against Connecticut and didn't do so well. He was pulled after 1.1 innings. UConn really got onto him early. 7 hits allowed in that short frame, 6 earned runs as well, and only got 1 strikeout. 4 doubles for UConn in that performance. And then against Texas State on June 4th, he also didn't do too well, was pulled after 4.2 innings and then had 5 unearned runs. Last 2 games, both were losses that he started. And the main thing Arkansas has to do is what Texas State and Connecticut were able to do is avoid striking out and get good contact off of him and wear down his pitch count pretty early, or get it to the point that they're going to have to go to the bullpen. And then in the start before that against Arizona on May 26th, he had 4.2 innings pitched, and his game ERA was 7.71 in that one after giving up 4 unearned runs. The main thing is he's been really dominant, as you've seen, for Stanford all season. But as he got to the end of the season, he really started to fall off with his performances and has struggled within the postseason. And the main thing for Arkansas to get the win here is obviously be able to hit off of him. At some time, though, Stanford is going to go to their bullpen. And looking at their bullpen here, Quinn Matthews saved Game 2 and Game 3 for Stanford in the Super Regional and got credited for the save both time. If you don't remember, last time Arkansas faced Matthews, he was a starter for Stanford. Had 6 innings pitched, only 2 hits allowed, 10 strikeouts. So obviously he was really good over the weekend for Stanford. Was a huge part in their College World Series berth. Had 3 innings pitched on the Game 2 of the regional. Only let up no hits, actually. 3 runners on base through 3 walks, and then 4 strikeouts. And then to close off, he had 3 innings pitched in the next game, allowing 1 earned run and 4 hits, 4 strikeouts. So definitely expect to see Quinn Matthews, especially in a close game like this one, and how he carved up that Arkansas lineup last time. Matthews, great strike thrower, has a really good off-speed pitch that is able to get batters. He's got 110 strikeouts on the season and a team-low 2.62 ERA. I think you can argue he's the best pitcher on the Stanford team. Another bullpen guy for the Cardinals is Brant Panther. He's got 3.26 ERA on the season, 38.2 innings pitched. He's got a great command, doesn't really walk that many batters, and has been used to throwing strikes. Additionally, I would expect to see Ryan Bruno kind of in the mid-relief position. He's got a team-low 2.61 ERA for 38 innings pitched. Opposing batters are hitting 150 against him. And then out of the pen, Tommy O'Rourke did see some action against Arkansas. He was effective in his 2 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts, no hits, no walks. May come out of the bullpen, but he's on the back end of the relievers for Stanford. He's got 4.45 ERA. But the main thing is, if we can get to Matthews like weren't able to do in the first game, is important because Matthews has pitched a lot of innings, 96.1 innings pitched. He's kind of a longer type relief guy, and especially in Omaha where you don't want to end up on that loser side of the bracket. If Alex Williams isn't delivering for Stanford, which he hasn't in the last 2 games in the postseason, they may switch over to Matthews, and Arkansas has to be able to do things differently against him than they were able to do in the Round Rock Classic game. Arkansas only able to get 3 hits off of him. Those hits by Lanzilli, Turner, and Gregory. It was just a really rough day at the plate for Arkansas, and you got to put guys on to score, obviously. Going through this Stanford lineup, kicking things off at the top of the lineup for those Cardinals is Brock Jones, the center fielder. He's got a .327 average, one of the better hitters on the Stanford team, but his on-base percentage makes sense why he's the leadoff guy, batting a team-high .455, getting on base a lot. 80 hits on the season with 55 walks and 15 stolen bases. He gets on base and advances early. I thought in the Super Regional, Arkansas did a pretty good job of limiting Honeycutt and his ability to kind of do the same thing, get on base easily and then advance. Arkansas looking to do the same here. Brock Jones expect a lot of throwbacks to first if he gets on, but it's more than likely going to happen given how talented he is. Next up is first baseman Carter Graham batting in the 2-hole. He is batting .333 on the season, so obviously thirds there, and then on base percentage of .403. Next up is Brett Barrara. Barrara was 2 for 4 in the Stanford final game before he was pinch hit for Barrara, batting .355 on the season. However, his numbers in the NCAA tournament have been a little bit more on the lower side, batting .289 at the plate. In that 4 spot, you'll see Braden Montgomery. He's batted a solid .297 on the season, batting average in the NCAA tournament, a .273. He's got 18 home runs on the season, has been able to hit the ball out the park for Stanford. Stanford has 5 guys with over 13 strikeouts, one of those being Brock Jones, who I talked about. There's a leadoff guy. He's got 20 home runs on the season. He's solid, kind of a big back hitter for them. He's got those 20 home runs, but 75 strikeouts, so his K rate is definitely up there. But he draws a lot of walks additionally. In the 5th spot, batting in that cleanup order, is Cody Huff. Cody Huff was incredible in getting Stanford to Omaha. He was 3 out of 4 in that final game. He had a huge grand slam, I remember, against UConn. Cody Huff has 13 home runs on the season. He's batting a team .325 throughout the whole entire season. However, he's been crushing the ball in the NCAA tournament so far. He's batting .414 for the whole entire tournament. Additionally, behind him is going to be Bowser. Drew Bowser, third baseman, batting .297 for the Cardinals. Bowser this season batting .294 in the NCAA tournament. However, in a lot of his plate appearances, he's been able to advance. He's a higher OPS, looking at 1.204. I think the main thing for Stanford is these guys have really high OPS numbers because this lineup they straight up rake. Like, they hit the ball, and they hit the ball out of the park, and they score runs. They're batting a team .374 in the NCAA tournament, which is the highest out of any team that made it to Omaha. These guys hit the ball, and they get quality at-bats. Next up, batting in the 7-hole is Tommy Troy. Tommy Troy has been on a tear. He's batting .571 with an OPS of 1.709 in the NCAA tournament. He's got 20 hits in the NCAA tournament as well. He's been fantastic and was great in that final game in the UConn-Stanford series. He was 4 for 5, had a home run in that one. After him is one of Stanford's best hitters as well, Eddie Park, batting in the 8-hole in the NCAA tournament. He's batting a team-high .576 in the tournament. He's got 19 hits. And then on the season, Park is batting a team third-high .318 at the plate. And then closing it off is Crampton. Crampton, high on-base percentage at .388. You're always looking for that in your final spot at shortstop there. A lot of these guys, though, for Stanford are just hitting the ball extremely well and have put themselves in really good positions to win games based on clutch hitting and home runs and the big bats that have shown up all season for a lot of these guys. And then, again, the bullpen has been fantastic with guys like Bruno Matthews that I was talking about earlier. Main thing Stanford likes to do, though, they're going to get on base, and Arkansas has to limit that. You know, the command will go a lot with that when I kind of get into in the Arkansas section. This Arkansas team is clicking on all cylinders, and it took a while. The main thing about getting to Omaha is it's hard. It's a grind all season long to make the postseason, and you make the postseason, and then making it to Omaha, making it 3 out of the last 4 seasons is so incredible for Arkansas baseball. That high standard being met 3 out of 4 years is incredible. But the thing is, this Arkansas team is clicking on all cylinders. The pitching is there. Guys like Zach Morris have stepped up. The hitting was kind of in there towards the end of May and then really got there in June. Ever since the regional, Arkansas has looked like a top 5 team in college baseball, in my opinion. They have put themselves in a good position, obviously favored right now around like the 4th best odds to win the College World Series. But what the Hogs have done is really had guys step up, future big leaguers. Caden Wallace for Arkansas, batting .333 in the whole entire postseason, has been huge for Arkansas' success at the plate. Peyton Stovall, I think he's batting .500 in the regional, and then Michael Turner batting a .407 as well. Those guys stepping up at the plate have been huge for Arkansas, and I really, really like how this lineup is built for Arkansas by Dave Van Horn. Chris Lanzelli getting in the lineup every day has been huge. Leadoff, Braden Webb, he's got an on-base percentage of .423 on the season. Webb has got on base a lot in the postseason as well, batting .296 and then on-base percentage of .406. I love him in that first spot. And then Slavens has also turned it on, batting a lot higher in the postseason at .296 compared to his number throughout the season, which was a little bit lower, batting at a .259 on the season. Caden Wallace, man, I'm not sure if he'll end up going to the draft now because he's a draft-eligible sophomore here within the next few weeks, but this guy will be on the show soon. He will play through the minors quickly. The level of defense that he plays with at third base makes one of the best infields in the entire nation with Stovall, Battles, Moore, and then Caden closing it off. He makes great plays, and it seems like they're always, the clutch plays when Arkansas needs to get that essential out at the end in his defense, and he's been bringing it on the field as well. Like I said, met in .452 with a high OPS at 1.285. Arkansas can get this type of production that they've seen in the postseason from Caden Wallace. I think you're good for a due Omaha run. Michael Turner as well, 2 for 4 in the final game to advance to the College World Series. He's batting .407 in the postseason with an on-base percentage of .484. He's been hitting at the park really solid. He's got 11 hits within the postseason and also 2 home runs. After Turner is Chris Lanzilli. Lanzilli on the season was Arkansas's highest average hitter, batting a .322. Within the postseason, Lanzilli is up that to a .348. Talking a lot of these guys for Arkansas, and you look at the the stats from the regular season and the postseason, and you see an elevation of at least 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, sometimes 0.4, and even above 0.5. And I think that shows how these guys have really stepped up and rise to the occasion that Arkansas has needed that performance to advance within the postseason, and those guys have delivered. Morris struggled a little bit in the postseason, but he's really been able to provide on the defensive side. Still, he's only batting a 143 average at the plate. Not been the best there, but on base he's at a 357. Both of those lower than his regular season numbers. After Moore, though, you'll have Jalen Battles. Battles is making some money. I like to say that a lot because a lot of scouts for all these sports are watching in the postseason when guys have big performances. Like, a good comparison for those who don't get that invested into baseball is Jalen Williams. Williams played so good during Arkansas's NCAA tournament run. He was kind of viewed as a late second round, and then gained a lot of momentum around his game and everything. Went to the offseason and was staying in the NBA draft. I think the NCAA tournament really boosted his stock. And I would say the same is true for Jalen Battles. Battles batting .320 in the postseason with a on-base percentage of .393. He had that huge grand slam against Oklahoma State to help Arkansas win Game 1. And then Peyton Stovall has been huge, batting .500 within the entire regional. Ever since he got back from his thumb injury, he's been raking at the plate. And then closing it off, you'll see Zach Gregory for the Hogs. He's batting .105 within the NCAA tournament. And as you've seen, Kendall Diggs did pinch hit for him in that last game. And you might see a little bit of Diggs as well. But those are the main 9 guys you'll see for Arkansas. A lot. Maybe see a little bit of Jace Boferin. Maybe Kendall Diggs at pinch hitting. Those are their only guys I would expect to see out of the norm. But the main thing, Arkansas hitting, obviously clutch hits. Hitting against lefties is something that the team's gotten better at. And having that good eye at the plate has been really effective in raising OPSs, getting guys around the base, and scoring runs, and winning that Stillwater Regional when it was a slugfest out of that park. For pitching, Connor Noland on the bump. He was fantastic in his game against North Carolina. Went 6.2 innings with no earned runs allowed, 6 hits, 6 strikeouts, and was just making batters look a fool. He has 100 innings pitched on the season and a team ERA of 3.86 with that 92-93 fastball. He's really been effective this season, 105 strikeouts on the season. And Will McIntyre actually got a good amount of similar type of work against UNC in the Game 2 start. Obviously, I'll save it for later if he ends up starting. But the righty combo and then throwing that fastball in the upper 90s has really effective against UNC. And if Arkansas does have to play Stanford multiple times and no one has a good outing, that you can kind of bounce back and forth. Those guys pitch a very similar type style. But anyway, Noland, that strikeout 92, 93, 94, very effective. If he can keep his command, strikeout batters, which he has been able to do this season, his strikeout to walk ratio is well above 3-1. He's got 105 strikeouts to 33 walks. He was really fantastic against Grand Canyon, and I confidently feel with Connor Noland on the mound, Arkansas can beat any team in the nation. And I say that unbiasedly with, even if I wasn't an Arkansas fan. Noland has been absolutely dealing. Out of the bullpen, I think you'll look to guys like Hagen Smith, possibly as a closer. I know he didn't really close the game, the second one against North Carolina, but he was really effective in that first game and then against Oklahoma State. I think you'll see Evan Taylor, the 3.46 ERA pitcher, 39 innings pitched. He's been holding opponents' average to a 1.76. Really doesn't allow that many hits and so forth. Like I said, Smith, former starter earlier this season, he's kind of gone into that save role, picked up 2 saves so far within the postseason for Arkansas. Also is Cole Ramage with a 4.56 ERA, 61 strikeouts. The thing is with Hagan, he likes to, slow down the game more, but I'm not sure if he'll pitch against Stanford just based off of Stanford, already seeing Hagan, and they did hit really well off him, 13 hits in that total game. And then some other guys you may see are Zach Morris in a do-or-die situation, the left-handed pitcher for Arkansas. But I would expect that Arkansas rests McIntyre, ended up resting Jackson Wiggins and such. Main thing for the Arkansas pitchers that you'll see against Stanford is control that command. You don't want to give up those unnecessary guys bases, and then throw strikes, get strikeouts, and the faster Arkansas can work through the Stanford lineup and still keep their command, the more confident the hitting will kind of grow and base off of that. I feel like it's been that way a lot of times, especially this season. Arkansas has held a lead, and the pitching and hitting kind of swing that momentum for Arkansas, and there won't be that many rain delays to swing momentum. If you get momentum, you'll carry it through the game. Now my prediction for this game, I've got Arkansas winning the first game in their College World Series stay 7-4. I think the main thing for Arkansas is getting on Matthews early and then avoid getting carved up by their later bullpen guys. And with Connor Nolan on the mound, I have a lot of confidence in this Arkansas team. Nolan's just pitching has... There really isn't that many words to describe it myself, because it's just, you watch it and it's just silly. He's retiring batters left and right. And then Arkansas's lineup with Caden, Wallace, Michael Turner, Stovall, those guys have come to play both weekends in the NCAA tournament, and I expect that to hold up. But I could see Stanford winning this game. They're a very competitive ball club, and was carved up Arkansas's lineup last time with Matthews, and we will see him likely out of the bullpen. The thing for Arkansas, though, if they want to win, is effective performances on the plate and run support, and then Stanford, just the same for them, getting run support, hitting on Nolan, getting guys on base, scoring runs, and then not really allowing the same, and, use a lot of the off-speed type pitches. It really could go either way easily, though, but I've got Arkansas getting revenge here for their previous loss against Stanford. But I'll have a recap of this game and a preview of the next one, because no matter what, Arkansas will play another game in Omaha, bringing the equipment up there. Charles Schwab Field, not TD Ameritrade. My bad, I said it wrong last time. Anyways, signing off for now. Woo pig suey.
That's all for today's episode of All Hog Sports with Sam Stimson. Make sure to stay tuned for the next episode covering all Arkansas Razorback sports. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on social media too. On Twitter and Instagram at All Hog Sports Pod. Like on Facebook at All Hog Sports and Arkansas Razorbacks Podcast. And on YouTube at that same name. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Go Hogs!